What's up, everyone? Today we are reviewing The Binding of Isaac: Four Souls. Alright, The Binding of Isaac: Four Souls is a card game that is basically a take a card, play a card version of a game. You are going to attack monsters to try and collect souls. You are going to try to collect items to make your character stronger and stronger. You're going to be trying to play cards to hurt your opponents with some take that mechanics. But overall, this is an incredibly simple game that is based off of the very popular The Binding of Isaac video game. And this was from Kickstarter. It did extremely well and it shipped really fast. And I'm very, very excited about it. So let's start with the component quality. So, as I said in my unboxing, if you were able to watch that, the cards are very thin. And they are laminated. They have a linen finish, linen laminate on them. So that is really nice. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous and is exactly like the video game. This is the item deck, and here's all the items that are in there. They look like this. They all have the font from the game. Everything looks exactly like it should. They have... this is your item deck. So I was saying items over here. This is your treasure. This is your item deck, and then here's the monsters, and then the monsters just look so awesome. Very easy to see all of the iconography, and the iconography is very simple. It's very intuitive. This is a game that you could basically learn in 5 minutes and be able to play right away. It will take you a couple games to actually get the hang of when to play certain things and how to use it. I think just like the actual video game. But that's something I do want to talk about, is this how to play guide. This is the rules. And in my unboxing, I said, well, this is pretty cool. It's pretty short rules. And for the most part, this covers everything. But it doesn't cover everything. And that part's a little frustrating. I'm in the message boards on BGG all the time for the games that I really like and want to play. And also all the new Kickstarters that I get. For this reason alone, there is a lot of things on here that what is called a synergy in the game is that you might get multiple items, your starting item, and something that your character does. And when they're all laid out together, they do something weird. In other words, they do something rule breaking for what your normal rules are. And you don't know how to answer that. Now, I understand that if this instruction booklet had, every single combination, there's millions of combinations of these cards. I mean, look how big this deck is. It's huge. Millions of combinations of cards. So therefore, it might not ever be possible to answer every single question. But I wish there was some frequently asked questions that kind of net the bulk of those questions about, like, Gaslands has, if you can't figure out what you're supposed to do in a situation, do whatever causes the most amount of damage. That's very simple. That goes, okay, I'm going to look through this. You know what? I might be wrong, but who cares? The whole point is to have fun. With this game, I definitely had fun, but there was a lot of questions when certain cards mixed with other cards. But I said I was changing up my review structure. I don't want to talk about exactly how you play the game, but I am going to talk about it in terms of mechanics. So you take your starting card here, and that's your character, and it comes with a starting item. You then grab 6 cards off of the top, and then these are your item cards. And so these are all different things that you can do. So there's items like Holy Card and Butterbean and Soul Heart, and then money cards. You also start with 3 pennies. So the main thing that you're going to do in this game is you're going to first draw a card, and then you're going to play a card. Now you can play one item card for free. Some of these are trinkets and they will stay with you. Some of them you just play. So if I was going to take the 2 cents and play it, if that's a discard pile, I would grab 2 pennies and I would gain 2 pennies. Now I can exhaust my card to play another card. So if you look at the bottom here, there's an exhaust mechanic, which is you just turn it to the side, tap if you were playing Magic the Gathering. But you turn this to the side, and that allows you to play an additional loot card this turn. So that's a very useful thing, because that's your main thing that you're doing, is you're taking a card and you're playing a card, possibly playing a second card. If you get some items, they can make you play a third, a fourth, a fifth, and they could also spiral and let you just keep doing stuff. So how does that interact here? Well, that makes the play on this incredibly simple. It's very, very, very easy mechanic for people to understand. Oh, I draw a card like in Go Fish or Uno or anything like that. Then I play a card like Go Fish and Uno and Rook and all these games that people have played forever. Rummy, everything. They're like, you draw a card, you play a card. That's what you do. So this mechanic is very simple and very easy to understand. The second mechanic is it's the actions that you can do, right? So the first one is you draw a card, you have to do that. The second, your first action that is your choice is to play a card. You choose what card you want to play. The second action is to attack a monster. The monsters is how you win the game. You have to collect 4 souls. Now I'll tell you a mistake that I made the first time. I thought that these souls right here might make the game too quick. Quite the opposite. This game is a 20-minute game at best, if you are playing with these souls. It is a 1-hour game at best, if you play without them. It becomes really difficult to get that 4th souls, but that's why it's called the Binding of Isaac 4 souls. You have to get 4 souls. So if you look down here in the corner of the Lust card, the Lust card says +1 if you beat this. So let's now talk about how you attack and the attack mechanics of this game. So you get 2 dice. This dice is just a health counter. So each round when you go to attack, if I said I'm going to play, who is this? Judas. If I'm playing Judas, he has 2 life, he has 1 attack. You attack until either yourself or the monster is dead. So if I was attacking Lust here, I would then roll my dice. So this is my first attack. He takes damage on a 4+, so 4, 5, or 6. He hits back with 1 damage. He has 2 life. Each time this takes damage from an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking player. So I did a 1, which means I don't get to hit him. I would take damage. So now this is one problem with the game. There are no damage counters. So I would say that I have 1 damage, which means I only have 1 life left. Then I would roll again. I got a 4. 4+ means that I hit. He now takes 1 damage. And I take another damage because of his thing down here. I'm actually dead. I can't beat him. So I die, and a bunch of things happen because of that. And he heals back up and comes up here. And then it goes on to the next person's turn. And there's penalties you pay for dying and things like that. But that's actually a really easy thing. So what do I think about this mechanic of how you fight? I think this is incredibly simple and works for this game. If this was how games like Gloomhaven or Eldritch Horror or something like that worked, I would say this seems incredibly simple for a game that they've made super complex. But this makes sense for this, a pick and play game. So I pick, I play, I say I'm going to attack you, I roll, and it simulates in the Binding of Isaac, the video game, going into a room and fighting a boss until either you kill him or you die. You always have 2 active cards over here, could make more come out. There's also special items in here like treasure chests that make other things happen. And then inside the item deck, there are cards like this, kill a player. So I can play that on a player and kill them. That is also a reason why you would want to save this. because you could do this during anyone's turn and kill them. Like when they're about to win and get their fourth one of those, you can spend that and kill them. And that's the part that takes time to learn. The first time that you play, you're going to be focused on just attacking and learning what the cards do and stuff like that. Later on, now that I've played 5 or 6 times, I now know that I can use that. That's actually a really good card that I would hold this until the very end of the game. And when somebody went for their 4th soul, I would play this and kill them and make them not be able to finish the round and do that. The other souls that you can get, the first player to control 2 or more guppy items, you get that soul. This one, the first player to have 10 or more loot cards in their hand gains that soul. And then the first player to have 25 cents or more gains this soul. So each one of those counts as an extra soul. So if you potentially got all 3 of those and killed a guy, you would win the game. First person to 4 souls wins. So is there anything else I need to really say about this? I mean, the component quality on this game is the definition of hit or miss. This is incredible. This is a 10 out of 10. I mean, like, do I need metal coins for this game? Of course not. I love metal coins in my big games. But this is a $20 game. I'm okay with having plastic pieces there. It comes in this roller that says The Binding of Isaac. This is incredible. This is a 10 out of 10. The artwork is a 10 out of 10. The glossy finish on this, I love cards that are like that. They last a lot longer. You're less worried about water getting on them and them getting damaged. All of that is awesome. The amount of stuff you get all of these characters. They all have their own starting items. You have like a pound's worth of each one of these. Just tons of enemies and just all kinds of wonderful, wonderful stuff in this. If you don't know the video game, you have no idea what all this stuff is, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to know the video game to play this game. That's another important part, is that while it is so evocative of the game and actually feels like you're playing The Binding of Isaac, the card game, you don't need to know the game to play it. The bad parts, this is very, very flimsy. The dice are incredibly cheap dice. These are just, they weigh almost nothing. This dice doesn't make any sense at all. It is for when you're attacking them, you go, okay, I did 1 damage, I did 2 damage, I did 3 damage, so on and so forth. The rule book is not good enough for this game. I think it needs to be a lot better. I know that there's an online forum that you can go, and then also BGG is answering a lot of those questions, but just overall know that it's not the best at all. It's not the best rule book and rule system there. And finally, the fact that there are no damage counters, this is fine, but I can't use this on both myself and the bad guy at the same time. So that's a little frustrating. I wish that they had actual damage counters. Now, I will add some. This box is humongous, and that's neither a plus or minus. It's just that it's really big. So this box could have been about that big and fit this entire game. We have one spacer here and another spacer here, so it barely takes up any room at all. But that's okay. That's more nitpicky and not really important. I will just say that overall, I think that this is a great package. I will say I think it is worth the money. That is a thumbs up. I do also believe that this is a really fun game, and a game that you can probably play with people who don't play games as often as you do, but you want to introduce them to a game. I think that this is one that people will have a lot of fun, because they'll look at the cards and they're like, the belly button, that's weird. You may play an additional loot card on your turn, so already you've got 2 loot cards, and now you can play a 3rd loot card there. So these are loot cards. I call them item cards, but they're loot cards. So each time you take damage, you may recharge your character card. So you can just keep playing loot cards. That is an amazing item. But you see, that's the point, is that all of this kind of stuff just makes this game spiral out of control really quickly in a very fun way. And then all of a sudden someone announces, oh, I just got my 4th soul. And everyone goes, ah, damn it. Because you were planning on getting your 4th soul this round. So I think that the game what has been a serious hit for me. I recommend this to anybody, and I really, really, really hope that if you picked it up that you feel the same way that I do, because it's exciting to see video games that get turned into board games be done well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the way I do reviews. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or comments about the video or about the game at all. And I will see you all next time.